What is up, Rad Potential YouTube? I'm Mr. Rad, and welcome to today's video. This is going to be the official last video of this series on the hybrid in its current naturally aspirated form, because we're going to pursue a different path to our goal of 200 horsepower in the RX8 while maintaining a very affordable, budget-friendly build. Something that's very relatable and easy for you guys to achieve, or at least to know what's in the scope of like buying a $2,000 RX8 that kind of runs, but you want to keep up with all the guys on the street with V6 Mustangs and Camaros, because ultimately the RX8 is pretty much a super slow car in a straight line, as we all know. Before I take apart my perfectly good running and driving 108 horsepower hybrid RX8, let's just talk about the hybrid a little bit and why, in my opinion, I think it is a road that you should just 100% avoid and not go down yourself as an amateur car enthusiast. So I'm looking at this from the point of the average RX8 owner, okay? Not from me. I have a lot of rotary experience. I've built tons of these engines. I've worked on plenty of rotary cars. I've learned, as Ben from Gears and Gasoline would say, to deal with the rotary engine and all of its problems, and that's just normal to me. I would not know how it would feel to own a K-Series that just doesn't break, and when it does, you just get another one for $800. So I live the rotary struggle. But I would recommend to anybody watching this video, unless you have drive to pursue something that is going to be very hard to figure out, to even just come up to normal RX-8 standards, don't do the hybrid. So my experience with this engine proved what I figured would kind of be the typical hybrid experience. Somebody's going to see that, oh, I want all the exhaust flow. It's going to make my RIN assist that everyone complains about, the RX-8 RIN assist, and it's going to make this thing next level. We're going to pick up so much power, and this car is going to be just like an FD RX-7. It's going to be tunable. It's going to be such a beast of an RX-8. Well, here's the deal, guys. If you're going to rebuild your standard RIN assist engine, the one that's in your car currently, okay, you're probably going to spend $5,000 to $6,000 rebuilding that engine to bring it back to good OEM specifications. Most likely, you need a pair of housings. That pair of housings is going to set you back about $2,000. Whether you buy GS-LSE housings for the hybrid or RIN assist housings for an OEM rebuild. Your typical RIN assist engine rebuild would simply bolt back in your car with the factory engine mount, maybe an aftermarket header, and everything would be hunky-dory. It would all work. When you do the hybrid, as I've done here, you have to custom fabricate a header. You have to hope that you got the flow characteristics correct in your header such that it doesn't upset the overly complicated intake manifold on a 6-port RX-8. And then you have to take it, tune it, and then you have to hope that your RX-8 length apex seals don't warp over the peripheral port GS-LSE housings, which some people have had issues with it. My engine has 500 miles on it, guys. I'm not here to tell you that the RX-8 apex seals are going to work, but you now have to take your rotors and get them custom machined to accept an RX-7 apex seal, put that in your engine. You have to build a new engine mount if your header doesn't clear the OEM engine mount. And then, after all of that, you're going to start your car and take it to the dyno, and it's going to make 170, maybe 200 horsepower. But here's the deal. You literally could have just taken a RIN assist engine, this 6-port engine, okay, that one over there, the blown up one, bought new housings, put good apex seals in it, new side seals, corner seals, springs, rebuilt that engine properly, put a nice cold air intake on it, a header and a catback exhaust, a good set of coils, which you're going to want on your hybrid anyways. You put all those parts on there, and literally your car would have made 180 to 190 horsepower. So you're talking about eliminating thousands of dollars in extra effort, and you made 90% of what the hybrid's going to make. So like, I can't sit here as somebody that some of you guys look up to for rotary advice and tell you the hybrid is worth it, because unless you're willing to finish all the research that all of, me, Mazda Tricks, other private people in Australia who have worked on these hybrids, and provide you with some data points on the internet, not very much, I'm not going to tell you to try it, because I tried it. assuming it would be a little bit hard, but not necessarily the most crazy thing, and literally ended up worse than I was before. And I've got, I mean, this is a whole new Renesis engine, basically. So, like, you've got $5,000 sitting right here. You know, that fortunately in my situation, I collect rotary engines. I have some parts laying around, but for you, this is $5,000 right here. This is a bunch of money to put a new engine in your car to be like, well, it's slower. So I just wouldn't recommend it. Like, I know it's a good idea on paper, and everyone's going to burn me down in the comments whenever I say don't do the hybrid, but I'm only saying don't do it in A. I'm going to try this with boost, but we're going to take this engine out. I'm going to tear this engine down, and we're going to reinforce it and make it better such that it can handle boost. I really think the Renesis is a little bit slept on when it comes to people turboing the Renesis, because as long as you're not super greedy, you can make decent power out of a turbo Renesis. Like, decent meaning this ain't going to be no 1,000 horsepower Hellcat, but like you could make 240 horsepower probably pretty reliably with a small turbo on a Renesis engine, and that's going to make this car a blast to drive. So with that, let's rip this header off of here one last time. The header, engine mount, my hybrid specific parts for NA are actually going to somebody else with a YouTube channel that has an RX8 that's going down the hybrid route so that he can do some testing. This will at least get his car running. Instead of paying a shop thousands of dollars to make him a custom header, I'm just going to let him use mine and he can figure it out and change it and do whatever he wants to do. So this guy's name is Mitchell. He has a channel called Racing with Mitchell. I will tag it in the description below. Unfortunately, he is not going to make it to the shop in time to pick the parts up to be in this video, but I will get him in the next video whenever we're putting the turbo on Buzz the RX8. So everything in the engine bay has to come out again. And then we have to take the parts off of this engine and put them on the low compression engine because I want to make this series as relatable to you guys as possible. So I'm going to boost a unknown miles rebuilt Renesis, and we're going to see how long it lasts and see how much horsepower it makes, which I can't be more excited to do it. Also, we're going to do that same boost and stuff on VersaTuner with a mass airflow meter, not a map sensor, and I'm not going to do the cheat code and get an Adaptronic plug-and-play ECU to where you can just get rid of that stuff. So we're going to try to make this to where, you know, $400 to $500, maybe $600 in a cheap turbo and a turbo kit and some other odds and ends. You have to buy your VersaTuner stuff, and you could turbo your Renesis that you have at home. So let's get right to it. And just to prove to y'all, I don't lie. I take apart running cars. I don't wait till my cars break. I just take them apart when they're perfect. Listen to this hybrid fire right back up. Because it's an RX8 and they always start. And if you built a good RX8 engine, you can start your engine right back up after you turn it off cold when you just cold started it in your shop. Listen to this. Internet broken. Got to turn it off though because I don't want to burn my hands taking that header off for the 17,000th time. So we're going to dig right in. Time to lay under the lift again because that's what we love doing. NASCAR. Now I just get the fun task of trying to find the key for this because when we were at Phalanx Performance last time, I didn't have the key, so we like super cranked off the rear ones, but I found the key when I got back and I've since misplaced it. It's probably in the car, ideally. Ideally, it's in this door. Well, I found a Midsummer Night air freshener. That's why the yellow car smells so good on the inside. It's not premix. That can stay in there. I found it. It was over on my workbench. Come on. There we go. Never had that happen before. Guess it's time for a new snap ring on my impact. Might as well just throw that away while I'm here. Racing. Long extensions and a wobble. I guess I am getting a little ahead of myself though. I need to take the mid-pipe off. This back one's super neat because I have to put the socket on the extension, put the extension through the crack in the header, then slide the whole unit forwards such that the socket will now go on the bolt, and then I can put my ratchet on it in this very small spot, and 1/8 of a turn at a time take the nut off. And things like that happen when it breaks loose. Mid-pipe off. I don't think I got the long pour, guys. Did we try it though? Let's see. Intersection. I bet that'll make it. I don't know. I'll be quick. Oh, look at that. Long pour on the oil drain. Get fired up. The real treat will be, I'm going to lower the car down as it's draining out. It's going to look all cinematic. Didn't spill a drop. I mean, the battery's got to come out of here, doesn't it? Let me just take it out. The old super start for starting RX8s every time. Air flapper, that flapper, this gets disconnected. Give it a shove and a lift. Shove and lift right there. Bam. Disconnect that. Since we're going turbo, we won't need this anymore. We need the mass airflow sensor out of that though, in our charge pipe. We can get rid of the air box, the old battery box. When I put my battery tray that's holding all my extra bolts. There we go. Failed gasket stuff. Don't need that. We don't need that anymore. It's probably a good spot for you to fall off of and dump everything on the ground. Usually I'm a hood on guy, but I'm taking the hood off this time. We're going to be building a turbo kit for this car, and most likely we're just going to hood dump this thing, so no more hood. Sorry, hood. As much as y'all think the paint on this car is super nice, it's pretty rough. Alright, so I didn't ratchet strap the engine to the side. Let's see if I can do it without doing that. Need ratchet strap. I call this the under your car worm. It's this new move required by garage mechanics. Got to be able to work on your car, you got to be able to under car worm. There we go. Now while I'm down here, I'm going to go ahead and put on the subframe brace, because the subframe brace will hold my transmission up once I take the engine out. Don't forget your transmission wires, guys. You will test the tensile strength of these and rip them off. I haven't done it, but I've almost done it. Heh. Usually you don't make that loud noise. What am I stuck on, bro? Oh. The clutch line was looped under the coolant line. Guess I put the coolant line on under the clutch line. That's it's fine. The proof that it was the real hybrid, the one we had in there. Real deal test. For y'all, real deal data. Real deal hybrid data as found on the Rad Potential YouTube channel, showing that it is in fact much harder than it looks to actually make a hybrid work. And I'm not unashamed, or I'm not ashamed. I'm perfectly happy with the fact that I've proved that the NA hybrid is not as simple as everybody in the internet makes it seem, to be able to just bolt it in and instantly make 200 horsepower versus just freshen up your Renesis, put some bolt-ons on it, and be happy with 180. That's what I'm going to say. I'll prove, however, in the next video series, with this very crappy low compression engine, and not this turbo, but one about the same as this turbo, it's going to rest right about here, down in the engine bay, and I will prove that we can make 200 horsepower plus out of an RX8 for cheaper than you could build a hybrid engine. That's kind of my whole intent here. So, I'm stoked this thing is out. It's been a heck of a day. Get this deal out of here. Look at how nice and clean it is. Still is, was. It's got all the... I don't know if the coolant I got was just a little more green, but this is like Alien versus Predator, Predator green blood dripping everywhere. So, also, when I put the new engine in, I think I'm just going to go ahead and block off the oil metering pump. So, I did run the zone adapter on this deal, so I have one. But I think I'm just going to take my zone adapter off of the yellow car and go ahead and just put it on the green car, because I really think the green car is probably going to stay stock Renesis, and this hybrid might go into the next project on the channel. So, if y'all are interested in checking out the next project on the channel before, obviously y'all get to see the next project on the channel, go check out the Rad Potential Patreon. Without those guys' support, this would not be possible. I'm so thankful to have them over there helping me out and supporting. The Rad Potential Patreon is set up like this, okay? Multiple different tiers. There's one called Rad Solutions. This is the one that I've made. The whole reason for the Patreon is to give back to you guys. So I have accumulated a lot of rotary knowledge, and it's hard for me to share all of my rotary knowledge in videos or make a video specifically to help your specific car problem. So on Rad Solutions, you jump on there, be a member for just 1 month, get your questions answered, and cancel the membership. That's perfectly fine. But if you have specific questions about building your own engine, troubleshooting your own car, check out the Rad Solutions Patreon. It's super sweet. I make videos to answer the specific questions that you guys ask on there. Those guys, I've helped a guy in Germany fix his FD. It's super fun to give back to you guys, and that's the most efficient way for me to do it and manage all the flood of inevitably broken rotary cars. So with that, that's the end of today's video. No, this is not the next project on the channel. It's coming, but it's not it. I got a rally coming up, so follow me on Instagram to check out the rally content. The rally content doesn't quite always make it to the channel, so rally car, still good, still ripping. And outside that door, over there, is a car sitting on a wagon, ready to be rolled in here and lifted off the wagon. And then if you were paying close attention, I bought another yellow RX8. And that yellow RX8 was not because I needed another one. It was because I needed some parts to finish the car that's on the wagon. And no, the car on the wagon is not an RX8. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Go check out Racing with Mitchell. He's going to have my header and my engine mount to put his hybrid car together. His car is a stock port Renesis but it's a hybrid, so it's not Bridgeported, so maybe he'll have a better, flow, power, numbers than me. I'm interested to see his results, and I'm interested to kind of keep sharing the hybrid data because, after all, I've stopped editing myself out of, the scenes every time I say hybrid, hybrid, hybrid. I'm just going to stay standing here and saying it. But, Hawaiian shirts, we're not in witness protection, but we are living a life that we don't need a vacation from. So with that, thank you again so much for watching the video. Subscribe if you enjoy rotary cars and hanging out in the rad workshop. Peace, guys. Keep it rad. So I won't show you under the hood, but y'all know this car. It's the right-hand drive FD from a while back. I got to put some arrow catches on here. Sneak peek of some fanciness there. Sneak peek of some fanciness there. Haltech boxes and stuff. And then this is another sneak peek y'all haven't seen yet, but sneak peek of the Rad X7 is getting more rad and more yellow. Peace, guys.